Today we're heading into one of Cappadocia's most, let's just say, uniquely shaped landscapes, Love Valley. And yes, it absolutely lives up to the name. We started by following a dusty path from where the bus dropped us off. At one point, our host casually picked up some wild greens from the trail and started eating them, like it was completely normal, which for him, it probably is. I'm just trusting his judgment on this one.
Tubes.
Uh-huh. These formations are made from volcanic tuff, soft rock formed millions of years ago from ash and lava, which is why they've been sculpted so easily by wind and rain over time. As we rounded the bend, the valley suddenly opened up, and there they were, the famous formations of Love Valley.
Or it's called Love Valley for obvious reasons.
Giant, towering rock pillars that, well, look exactly like what you think they look like. Some people call them mushrooms, but let's be honest, there's a reason this place has the name it does. These are actually a type of fairy chimney, formed when a harder cap of rock protects the softer tuff underneath from eroding away. Over time, the surrounding material disappears, leaving behind these tall, column-like structures. Nature apparently has a sense of humor. We got up close and personal with them, and the scale is hard to describe. They're massive. At the base of one, we even ducked inside a carved cave, reminding us that these weren't just strange natural formations, they were actually used by people for shelter, storage, and everyday life. After taking them in from every possible angle, we continued into the valley behind them where the landscape shifted again. The cliffs here look like giant sand dunes frozen in time, but they're actually solid rock. Layers of volcanic deposits eroded at different rates, creating these smooth, flowing shapes that look soft enough to slide down, but they're not. Everywhere you look, the geology changes. Some formations are rounded and gentle, others sharp and dramatic. It all comes down to slight differences in rock hardness, cracks, and how water and wind have worn them down over thousands of years. We took a break in the grass beneath an enormous mushroom-shaped formation with even taller cliffs rising behind it. Looking closer, we spotted small holes carved into the rock, pigeon houses. People once raised pigeons here and collected their manure, which was incredibly valuable as fertilizer for crops. Yes, even pigeon poop had a purpose here. From there, we continued through natural archways and into narrow crevices, where the valley walls started to look like rows of half-formed eroding shapes, almost like the landscape itself was still in the process of being sculpted. It's one of those places where your brain tries to make sense of it all and just can't quite keep up. We wandered up and down winding paths trying to find our way out until we finally began a slow climb along the left side of the valley. The ground looked like rolling sand dunes, but it was actually solid rock worn into the soft flowing curves. When we finally reached the top, we turned back for one last view, layers of yellow rock stretching across the valley we had just crossed. As we emerged, another group was just beginning their descent, while we walked past grapevines and a striking red layered plateau rising on our left. Behind us was Love Valley, and straight ahead stood Uchisar Castle, which we'll be exploring in a future vlog. We had just missed the last bus, so we tried hitchhiking, and luckily 2 kind locals picked us up and gave us a ride. And if you thought this valley was wild, just wait until we climb to the top of that castle next.